choices. Choose a bank that takes your money seriously. Business Watch is brought to you by Nedbank.
It's 2 p.m. Good afternoon and welcome to Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you for tuning in. Watch us on our YouTube page, Eswatini TV. We're on DSTV as well, channel 286. Nedbank Eswatini has rolled out two savvy mobile payment solutions for MSMEs. Small businesses can now accept card payments anytime, anywhere with a newly launched device, Pocket POS, also known as Tap on Phone, which is the first of its kind in Eswatini. The Pocket POS is a cheap and PIN and contactless mobile point of sale solution that turns your smartphone or tablet into a POS device, which means customers can now pay you conveniently, securely, and instantly. Fanilo Dlamini will explain further how the device works. Then later, Spalele Shabang will join us as well to warn clients on the proof of payment scam, since we're still in November, which is the International Fraud Awareness Month. Stay tuned for these interviews. And in other news, the International Labour Organization has engaged different media professionals, trade unions, and government employees on employment and labour issues in a workshop held in Johannesburg, South Africa. Business journalist Nelsiwe Ntlangamandla is one of the attendees, and she joins me now via Zoom. Good afternoon, Nelly, and welcome to Nedbank Business Watch. You attended the meeting that started on Monday this week. What is the overview? What happened yesterday? What were some of the discussions that took place since Monday?
Thank you so much, Lulu, and good afternoon to the viewer at home. So what we are seeing is that the International Labour Organization is really trying to ensure that Eswatini and the entire countries in the Southern Africa follow the labor laws. And another thing that was discussed is the issue of how to recognize forced labor as journalists. How do we report on that, as well as reporting on issues of gender equality, basically the importance of Eswatini and journalists to report on issues of gender equality. So one thing that really struck home for me was the issue of the decent work country program that the International Labour Organization is really trying to push. That Eswatini is amongst the different countries that are trying to implement the decent work country program. So they shared that Eswatini is really making progress in terms of implementing this program, because we have the National Wellness Policy that has already been approved by Cabinet, and we have different initiatives that are being done by government to address the issue of skills mismatch, which has been a major challenge, especially for the private sector, especially for businesses. Eswatini has been complaining a lot about that. And the issue of job creation, we also got the opportunity to know what Eswatini is doing to ensure that they address some of the priority areas in the Decent Work Country program. So we are hoping that the director of the International Labour Organization will also talk to us about the issue of funding, especially of this Decent Work Country program, because when I studied it and looked at it, I realized that it needs funding of about 377 billion emalangeni. Of course, it will vary depending on the exchange rate, but from 2022 to 2025, we are hoping to have him via Zoom to answer some of those questions. But another thing that is very key that is being talked about in this workshop is the issue of social protection, not only for government, but also for the private sector. We also got a chance, Lulu and the viewer at home, just to talk to the director about how following the International Labour Organization standards impacts on basically trade. And he was generous enough to give us the interview, and in the next clip he shares the insights into the importance of following the labor standards, especially for trade.
International. And the basic objective is to try and provide human and labor rights to all workers, irrespective of their nationality and everything, on a basic minimum standard. What we've also realized over the years with the development is there's been increased trade amongst countries. And we think that that also affects the fair level playing field. And at times when negotiating trade agreements, countries tend to rise to the bottom by trying to lower standards for workers. So, for example, countries would say we have lower wages, they don't respect occupational health and safety, and so on. That way, they look attractive to investors who are generally not then the good investors. So, the ILO, based on international labor standards, is trying to have a fair playing field with regards to international trade, so that as workers' rights are being taken into consideration, all countries operate at the same level, taking into account, of course, the country's economic and social status. When a country makes a commitment to be a member of the ILO, first and foremost, we have core conventions that they have to respect and that address a lot of issues related to standards. But in the event that a country does not respect one of the standards for one reason or another, the first thing that we do for us is continuous advocacy and dialogue. But we have also seen from experience that multinationals who are then coming with the international trade would then stop trading with that particular country because they also do not want to have their name tendered with a company that is producing, say, using forced labor, their name tendered with a company that is, say, producing using child labor, or their name being associated with a company that does not pay minimum wages for a particular country. So you will find that while we do not per se impose sanctions, but countries want to be of good standing internationally, and they would ensure that when they trade with a domestic company, international labor standards are respected.
Well, that was the director of the International Labour Organization, Lulu, and the viewer at home, stating clearly what happens to a country if they do not follow the International Labour Organization standards. We also had a chance to speak to the Secretary General of the Federation of Trade Unions in Eswatini, known as FETWASO. So what we wanted to know here is the issue of private sector employees. As Eswatini TV, we have done a lot of reports, especially on security companies who refuse to follow the stipulated and gazetted wages. They do not give their workers the gazetted wages. You find that government says, for example, people in the security companies should be given maybe 2,500 emalangeni. I'm making an example. But the private sector companies would not give them that minimum wage. So we wanted to find out from this trade union specifically, what is it that you are doing to ensure that these people are given the money as stipulated by the Gazette? And this is what Pendulile has said.
It has always been an agenda item for our negotiating tables in different companies. There are about more than 46 companies in our federation, but each and every negotiation, each and every year, we always place social protection as an item of agenda. And over the years, we have seen employees within the private sector being able to establish pension funds within the company, whereby the employer then contributes 5% and then the employee also contributes 5%. social protection is a very integral part, or rather a beneficial part, when it comes to an employee, especially when he or she reaches their 60 years retirement. It really comes and help the employee a lot. So over the years, as we're promoting that agenda, we have seen many employers now understanding the idea behind the need of social protection, because within that established provident fund or pension fund, there are other benefits and securities that covers the employee in terms of death, sometimes also in the money that the employee receive at the duration of the 60 years. So it's quite helpful. Within the private sector, when it comes to the National Minimum Gazette, I would say 80% of the 46 companies I have mentioned, they are above the gazette, that we may specify, and also appreciate the employers who tend to look beyond the minimum gazette that are set by the Minister of Labour and Social Security. So what we do as an organization, when we find that that company is not meeting the minimum terms and conditions of that industry, we ensure that we include it as an item of agenda. I think the most industry that is affected, I think, is the security industry and also the agriculture industry. That is where you find employers not meeting the set targets when it comes to the minimum regulations through the gazette.
That was Pendulile Zigalala, Lulu, and the viewer at home. She's the Secretary General of the Federation of Trade Unions in Eswatini. So there are different issues that the ILO will be attending to, all which are meant to ensure social security in the workplace, ensuring that everyone is catered for in the workplace, ensuring that people get the minimum wages. And they've made it clear that reducing, or rather making the labor standards cheaper is not allowed or is not permitted, and it can have repercussions even in global trade, leading to a country being blacklisted. So we are going to hear from the director of the International Labour Organization, who is here with me right now, who will share more insights basically on the workshop and as well as on the landscape of trade and following the International Labour Organization standards.
All right. Thank you, Nelly, for that overview on the ongoing International Labour Organization. And after the break, we speak to Mr. Musindo, who's the director of the International Labour Organization. Stay with us.
sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu sivile sive sikhulume
Digital helps you make cross-border payments. Human gives you global specialists. Digital allows you to apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Human connects you to credit experts. Digital puts you in control of your money, while Human connects you to wealth advisors. Digital allows you to freeze, unfreeze, cancel, and reorder your card. Human gives you that personal touch. Digital when you want it. Human when you need it. Get the complete private banking experience with Nedbank Private Clients.
Welcome back. You're so watching NetBank Business Watch. Thank you for staying with us. The International Labour Organization has engaged different media professionals, trade unions, and government employees on employment and labour issues in a workshop held in Johannesburg, South Africa. The topics range from decent work country programs in the context of countries in Southern Africa, the elimination of forced labour, and the decent work deficits in these countries. ILO Director Alexio Musindo joins us now via Zoom to share the organization's vision for Eswatini, Botswana, Lesotho, and South Africa. Very good afternoon, Mr. Musindo. Welcome to NetBank Business Watch. If you could just highlight some of the key issues in the training on employment and labor issues in Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, and South Africa.
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your viewers. Yes, we are having this workshop that brings in journalists from the sub-region, and our focus as ILO is around promotion of decent work and social justice. So the question that we've been asking ourselves in the last 2 days is, what role can the media play in advocating for social justice and decent work, in addressing the issues that you have raised, forced labor, for example, job creation that comes in, social protection that has been put on the table. So we have journalists from the 4 countries, and we know the power that we have as media to reach out to people on their rights as workers, on their needs as workers, and how this can be understood better by the community, by the workers, and also how they can deliver better. At the same time, we are also talking about the obligations of workers. With those rights, there's also need to have the combination of productivity. So the ILO agenda and the focus of the meeting is working with the media on promoting decent work and productivity in order to grow the economies in Eswatini, in South Africa, in Botswana, and Lesotho.
Yeah, speaking of decent work, how committed are the social partners in terms of seeing it being achieved by the year 2025, since it's a 2022-2025 program, especially in Eswatini?
There is commitment in Eswatini, and I think that is also reflected by the Decent Work Country Program that has been signed up by the business sector, by the trade unions, and by the government, with the Minister of Labour represented. Maybe let me explain briefly what the decent work is all about. Decent work is basically work that is dignified, work that provides a fair income, work that is worked on normal working hours, 48 hours a week, and if there's overtime, that is paid for. Work where there is social protection and health insurance. Work where there is possibility to have dialogue between the workers and the employers within the right frameworks of policies and laws that are developed by the tripartite, government in the leadership, workers and employers contributing to it. So I would say, when you look at business Eswatini, when you look at the trade unions in Eswatini, and the discussions we have been having over their time, there is commitment to work towards that aspiration of decent work. Is this something that we are going to do overnight? Definitely no. It's an aspiration, it's something that is going to take time, but the first step is commitment, is putting in human resources, is putting in financial resources from the different organizations to ensure that we work towards the indicators that we have developed globally for decent work. So, short answer to what you've said, there is commitment from the leadership of trade unions, business, and government towards the decent work agenda for the Eswatini.
Okay. Now, Mr. Musindo, what areas do you think need more attention in as far as decent work country, decent work country program, for example, the national minimum wage, which can contribute to the economic development of the country, because it's said that if workers have more buying power, they consume more, which means the economy circulates more.
Okay. I think one of the key areas that needs focus for the decent work agenda is firstly the job creation itself. That employment pillar gets to be important, particularly for the formal sector. Once the jobs are in place, then we now look at the quality of the jobs and the working conditions. And wages come into play a greater role for that. As I know, we do advocate And studies have shown that there is a linkage between the wages that workers get and the productivity and the profits that come in. There are studies that have shown that there is a linkage between minimum wage and poverty reduction. So basically, we do advocate not only for the implementation of minimum wage, because it's a minimum. Companies need to go beyond the minimum to ensure that their workers are better off and their families are better off. At the same time, when you look at the minimum wage convention of the ILO, it also states that there is need to have a balance between what the company, what the country can afford and what are the workers' needs. But again, we advocate that a minimum wage is important for workers and their families to address poverty and also to improve on productivity. So my call would be for the business sector, for the trade unions, to continue the negotiations for a minimum wage, for a wage that is good for the workers.
Yeah, definitely. So, Mr. Musindo, since ILO is the only UN agency that works in a tripartite structure, tell us the importance of the social partners to recognize and also respect the structure, how their cooperation can improve the labor space of the country.
Okay, so when you look at the workplace, we have three main actors. Any workplace you go, either you have three or you have two. And the three being governments, setting up the legal framework, the policies, and guiding the country. You have the private sector. Government can also be an employer as well as a policymaker. You also have the private sector, who are also key as they own and invest in the business. And you have the workers who are working for the company or for the government. Now, from the ILO and its uniqueness is that if you are setting policy on labor issues, each one of these three actors has a role to contribute to. So the structure of the ILO is basically that the government has 50% in terms of the shareholding of decisions or participation in ILO events. Workers, government would have two representatives, workers one representative, and employer one representative, making a team of four that then guide the setting up of policies on employment and labor issues. Why is it important? One cannot set policies that affect the others without their involvement. Nothing about workers without the workers, nothing about business without business. So the tripartite tries to give equal voice to all the partners on issues that affect the workers, employers, and government in terms of the national development. And the focus on tripartite dialogue is more on the productive side, on the positive side, on how each one of the three parties can contribute towards the growth and the stability of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Musindo, for your time. Thank you very much for your insight on the ongoing workshop that is taking place there in Johannesburg. That was Director ILO, Dr. Mr. Musindo, just giving us an insight on the Decent Work Program. We'll go for an ad break. We come back and speak to Mfanelo Dlamini from Nedbank Eswatini. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Nedbank Business Watch. Nedbank Eswatini has rolled out 2 savvy mobile payment solutions for MSMEs. Small businesses can now accept card payments anytime, anywhere with their newly launched device, Pocket POS, also known as Tap on Phone, which is the first of its kind in Eswatini. The Pocket POS is a chip and pin and contactless mobile point of sale solution that turns your smartphone or tablet into a POS device, which means customers can now pay you conveniently, securely, and instantly. Finally, Lamini joins us again this week to tell us more about the small gadget. And finally, a very good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for coming through. I suppose we have long queues of customers, your clients queuing to purchase this portable small gadget.
Thank you for having us back, Lulu, and good afternoon to everybody listening today. Oh, yes, we definitely have a long queues and long requests for this Pocket POS gadget since our last interview and since we've launched this thing. It's a very exciting product. So it's bridging the gap in the market for our small and medium enterprises, which also includes our local vendors, our kumbis, our taxi guys, and our delivery guys. So it's an all-inclusive product that is reaching out to a wider base of the SMEs.
Okay, so how long does the process take in purchasing it? Is there a waiting period? Do I register? And also, what documents do I need to bring when I come and register this portable gadget?
Right. Normal circumstances, it was a 7 working days process. You come to the bank, you apply for this thing, we onboard you, and we prepare all the documentation for you. When you come to you, we assist you download the app, and then you're good to go. But because of the demand that we've been getting lately, we've downsized the time to 48 hours.
Okay.
So that within 2 days, you'll have your gadget with you downloaded and active to go.
Yeah. So how does it work really? For someone who's really clueless, does it work as a speed point from the big supermarkets that we are aware of? How does it work? Just take us through on how it works.
It's a mobile app-based speed point. So basically, you download an app called Pocket POS on your phone. Then you link this gadget to your phone through Bluetooth. So that's how it's connected. It works with your mobile network. Okay. So whenever you have access to network, this thing will be live. Then you will be able to access it anywhere as long as there is network. It's an easy-to-use gadget, very, very efficient and very, very convenient.
Okay, so with my card, my debit card, I can tap, if I want to make a transaction, as easy as that.
Very, very easy. Luckily for you, I brought my phone with me. I'm already ready to go to make you pay for this interview today.
Okay, so I just tap. So do I have to have both the gadget and the cell phone, or I can register on the phone and not purchase the gadget? How does it work?
All right, for the Pocket POS, you will need both, since it's a mobile app device. You download the app, then you can link this through Bluetooth functionality for the Pocket POS. Then the app comes with another functionality called Tap on Phone. So once you activate that, you don't need this. The phone becomes the point of sale device itself.
Okay.
The tricky part about the phone, just using the phone, is your phone needs to be NFC enabled, and Android 8 and later. Also with iPhones, it has to be Apple Pay enabled, and iOS and later. So
also, it's not just compatible to any phone, it's particular cell phone. So you need to check before you purchase if they're compatible.
That is the Tap on Phone. But for the Pocket POS, as long as you have Android 8 and later, it works very well for you.
All right. So who is it ideal for? You did mention that it's for clients, hawkers, SMEs. Is it ideal for individuals, that particularly those that have online shops, online stores?
Yes, it's accessible to individuals as well, then informal traders as well. Like I've said before, your street vendors, our mothers selling tomatoes, vegetables, and everything else out there. They can access this. Kumbi drivers, your taxi drivers as well, delivery guys, all those small businesses, and some of the small pharmacies as well are also using the facility.
So what other benefits come with me purchasing, the small gadgets? Does it connect immediately? Do I connect through Bluetooth? How does it work? What other benefits come with purchasing the gadget?
Efficiency at most. It's the mobility of it as well.
Yeah.
It also collects immediately, yes. Your funds become immediately available after clearing. And the fact that it's linked to your phone, so wherever your phone has network, the device works. It's not limited to area. As long as there is no network on it, it will work. So for our ladies that are doing nails, makeup, they somehow do house calls. So they keep this thing with them, and after finishing making you look this beautiful, all you have to do is just take up your card and tap.
And as easy as that.
As easy as
so
that.
I know that anything that involves a bank comes with charges. So what are the charges? Is it like when you're doing a normal transaction at the bank or an ATM or at a shop? Are the charges the same?
The charges are the same for you who is paying. Exactly the same transactional charges that are when you swipe at the shop. It's the same charges that you will incur on this one.
Okay.
For our client purchasing the device only goes for 499 Malangeni, and the delivery fee of 115, which is the connectivity fee. Then on the tap on phone, since you don't need the device and the delivery fee, this one comes for free. The only charge will be the commission is at 2.5%.
Okay, so it's you can't rent it. It doesn't come at a rental.
It doesn't come at a rental, which means if you buy it, you don't have any monthly service fees. If you don't use it, it doesn't charge you.
Yeah.
That's the good part about it.
And if I lose it, I have to purchase it again.
If you lose it, unfortunately, you'd have to purchase it again. The good thing about it is nobody else can use it.
So if they tap, they're basically transacting into my account.
They wouldn't even have the profile to tap on. Remember, we onboard you and we give you your own profile to use, which will be embedded on your phone. And immediately you stop using it, it disconnects. So you lock your own details in it, so it's only applicable to you.
Okay. So does it tap any card? Is it only local cards or international cards can also, be able to tap, transact?
As tiny as it is, you'll be surprised that it taps all cards. International cards, local cards as well. American Express, Visa, and MasterCard.
So I can go with it anywhere, actually?
Anywhere. As long as you have network.
If I'm going on vacation. Internationally, I can also use it.
Yeah. And who are you going to be making pay?
I'm just asking for the benefits of the viewer.
Yeah.
So what's the feedback you're getting from your clients or your customers from this gadget?
Our clients are very excited about this, the flexibility of it and the fact that they don't have to incur the monthly charges, which comes with a bigger and more corporate speed points. So since their income levels are very low, most of them they've been trying to avoid taking up these products because of the monthly charges. So with the introduction of this, most clients are able to take this up and save a lot on driving to the bank to deposit their money, since these things delivers their cash straight into their accounts.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first of its kind, as I said. How did NetBank come about, with this idea? Did you get a lot of, was it an idea from your clients, client feedback, client suggestions? How did you come about with this idea?
It's R&D, ma'am. It's R&D, research. It's R&D mainly, but we're not here to give out trading information. Our competitors might just jump on it, but it's the gap in the market that we're trying to close. Because we work closely with our SMEs as a department, so we do listen to them and we do understand what issues they had with the later version of our speed points and what made them not take up their solutions. So, which is why it led us here.
Yeah. So will there be a window that NetBank will open, for clients that are not tech savvy? Because that other clients prefer to do things traditionally. They don't like technology. Will you be able to train those particular clients on how this gadget works?
Yes. Before we even deliver it to you, we come to you on delivery. We train you. That we leave you comfortable with the device. As NetBank, we rely on relationship management of our clients. So we are close to them. Whenever they need assistance with this, we just a call away. So before we even deliver it to you, you are going to be trained, you are going to be comfortable with it. And if you are still not comfortable, you give us a call, we drive to you. Make sure you are comfortable with them.
So how can I be certain that my client is not overcharging me? All right, I'm making a transaction to you. How can I be certain that you're not overcharging me? Is it visible on the screen how much I'm tapping?
Oh yes, it's visible on the screen. Let's just do an example for you. I'm not sure if our clients.
Unfortunately, our viewers will not be able to see it, but
it's visible on your screen. Since,
just like a speed point, it shows that
point,
I'm tapping 150 Malangeni, for example.
Yeah, exactly, because the amount is inputted on your phone. So as the whole screen of your phone will be showing the client this is the amount, this is where it's going. Exactly. Then you put your pin on that if you are not going to tap, or you tap on that and it says approved.
Okay, so how do I apply, for this gadget? As you said, it now takes 48 hours for the whole process to be completed. How do I apply? What documents do I need to bring with at the bank?
Right, for registered companies, they can visit us at our branches with their company documents, including their current trading license.
Okay.
Or they can reach us out on our help desk line, which is 3278 1999. Or email us at helpdesk at Eswatini. Helpdesk at Netbank Eswatini. Sorry, that's the
Okay.
order Z. They can also contact their bankers, for those that are banking with us, for more information about the application of these things.
Okay.
For our non-registered clients, which your individuals who are still doing their trade, and our street vendors and so on, all they need to bring us is their IDs, and they will fill up a source of funds documentation at their nearest branches as well.
And if that person doesn't have a source of fund?
Well, then that person wouldn't need the gadget, because it will be
They're not
receiving
eligible to
funds.
apply.
Exactly. So the main purpose of this is to receive funds, which means there is a source of fund. You'll be either selling something or...
Yeah. All
So
right.
definitely you'd have to have that source of funds, since we will be trading. It's a trade document. It's a trade device, so you'll be trading in something. Whatever you're trading in, that's your source of fund. If you're selling tomatoes, your source of fund is the sale of tomatoes. You just say, I'm selling tomatoes.
Okay, just like that.
Just like
Right.
that. It's as
So is
simple
it
as that.
available at all branches?
All branches
countrywide?
countrywide, that will be able to assist you with an application. And then our electronic banking team will come deliver it to you and train you on it.
Oh, one last question before I let you go. Do I have to be a NetBank client, or it's just anyone who wants this gadget can get it?
The gadget is accessible to anyone who's banking with any other bank. Obviously, we will encourage people to take up accounts with us for easy monitoring of the transactions and stuff like that, but it's open.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mfanelo. That was Mfanelo Dlamini from Netbank Eswatini, just explaining how the small gadgets known as the pocket pause works, also known as tap on phone. But for more details or for more information, you do contact them on their social media pages. They are at Netbank Eswatini. For now, let's go for an ad break. Sabia Konamaj. For staying with us. This is Netbank Business Watch. We now want to get into this conversation with Spalele Makakula Shabangu. Since we're still in November, November is International Fraud Awareness Month. We're still raising awareness on fraud. Spalele, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking about another important topic, proof of payment scam, which seems to be common nowadays. What is the proof of payment scam?
Thank you so much. Proof of payment scam basically is when a record or a document of payment is altered or edited and then presented to a third party to deceive that third party, to say that payment has been made when in actual fact it hasn't been made. So this can be either, a receipt, fake receipt, a bank statement that has been altered, internet banking confirmation that has been edited or altered. So basically any document or record that purports to say payment has been made when it hasn't, that is a proof of payment scam.
So how common is it in Eswatini? Is it done by locals, or it's a collaboration between locals and people outside the country?
It's unfortunately it's a very common scam. So it's twofold. There's the scam part of it where you're not really a scammer, but people are just buying time. And they want to delay payment. So they'll send a fake proof of payment while they're still sorting out their financial issues. Then you'll have your scammers where they'll basically send the proof of payment and take that item or take possession of that item, and then you've been scammed. So you'll have locals doing that. You'll have even foreigners doing that. If someone, I'm having my lobola, For instance, Esbali from South Africa wants to pay lobola, buying like, say what, 12 head of cattle, submits a fake proof of payment, you know. So things like that, we do have cases like that. And it's sad because it's not easy to prevent it, but it's an issue of detection.
Yeah. So what are some of the stories or instances that your clients have told you about? You've just mentioned that, you know, people pay lobola and they expect proof of payment. You know, others sell livestock, others are in the business of selling clothes, even wigs, or, you know, doing nails, and they expect a proof of payment. So what are some of these stories that your clients tell you?
All right. I will not delve much into it, but let me just say proof of payment is now an essential part of, you know, your supply chain cycle. So we cannot run away from it. It's just that now we're in a technological advanced era. So we cannot run away from this process of proof of payment, and there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is the scams. So we've had situations where a client has actually released goods to a third party who has presented a fake proof of payment. And I'm talking about a substantial amount, you know. And we're requested to confirm whether this payment is valid because the third party still has not received the funds. They haven't reflected in their account. So the bank will then confirm whether that payment is valid or not.
Okay, so who is at risk? You know, we have parents that are paying school fees to schools. We have parents that are paying tuition fee to universities and colleges. Who is exactly at risk?
Unfortunately, everyone is at risk. Everyone is at risk. Businesses are at risk because, like I say, this forms part of the supply chain cycle. You and I are at risk. We'll be selling a few items on Facebook, whatever you're selling. Schools in particular are at risk because usually their reconciliations are at a later stage, you know, unlike most businesses where their reconciliations are quicker. So they are more at risk than others. So this requires vigilance. You know, your payment, you need to, one, confirm that this payment is indeed authentic. If you're in doubt, you know, have your checks, confirm that this payment is indeed legitimate. For your first time, should I say, engagements or suppliers or buyers, you know, have those established protocols that you have to protect yourself. Yeah.
So what then if I suspect this is a fake proof of payment receipt? Do I contact my banker? Is it important to have a relationship with my banker?
It is very important to have a relationship with your banker. But for this, it doesn't even require a relationship. If you have a bank document in your possession, you can just notify the bank. You ask them to confirm, you know, or validate, authenticate the document. The bank will do that. Some banks will not authenticate the document. They would rather confirm the payment, that the payment is valid. Other banks will authenticate the document to say, no, this is not a valid document. So it depends.
Okay, so it's at times it's issues of network. You know, the culprits will say no, it'll come through. It's just network issues. So it's also important to double check on your app because nowadays we have apps, you know, cell phone banking. So that's quite important as well.
True, but first order of business. when you're in doubt, notify the person that has paid you. You know, I still haven't received my funds. Please double check if indeed your account has been debited with the said funds. So most people are chancers. They'll give you a story. Oh no, actually, I think something was wrong with the network. They'll give you a story and you'll see payment. We've had cases where serious monies, you know, a fake proof of payment has been presented to a client, and the client requests us to authenticate that, and we confirm, no, this is a fake proof of payment, and then we advise the client, report this to the police. Client comes back 2 days later, no, I just want to notify you, I will not be reporting this to the police. I've received my payment. So what they did, because they had information that this is fake, they reached out to the third party who was paying them. The third party just paid.
Just like that.
Just like
so,
that.
Speaking of the third party, I assume that you're working with police. The bank works with police, you know, in these investigations. Do you apprehend, you know, these culprits, these criminals? Your investigations.
As banks, we do not apprehend, but we'll assist the police with whatever information that is required. But the police have arrested suspects in these scams.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
But they're still going on. So this is the latest trend, the proof of payment scam.
Yes. In fact, it's old trends with new
New trends every
heels,
week.
new lipstick and earrings. That's just how it is.
Yeah, so technology does come with risks.
It does come with risk, but we're always providing ways to protect ourselves. Yes.
So how do your clients protect themselves, from this kind of scam?
I'd say the cardinal rule is that if you're in business, do consider having stricter rules. In South Africa, there's some businesses, it's standard. If you're a first-time client or supplier, you will not you will not have your goods released without that payment reflecting in that account. You could have the same rules for first-time suppliers or first-time buyers. Have stricter rules, or you only release payment once once the funds reflect in your account. So for me, it's safer. Have stricter rules. They may seem unfriendly, but depending on the risk factors of the industry that you're in. So have stricter rules depending on the risk factors of the industry that you're in, and considering the client base, of course.
Yeah, and also it's important to know your bank products.
Definitely, always. We've said this last week and over again. Know your bank products. You'll get to know. You'll see a fake proof of payment. You'll be able to spot it from afar.
Yeah, definitely. So if they want to ask more questions or to know more details, how do they contact your department?
3278 at Netbank. That's our phone number. And then they can just reach out via email to helpdesk@netbank.co.za.
All right, thank you so much, Palele. That was Palele Makakula Shabangu speaking to us on the latest trend of scam, which is the proof of payment scam. Everybody's at risk. She did say that schools, businesses, individuals as well are at risk on these scams. So do stay focused and report every transaction or report every suspicions that you suspect. Let's take a break. Sabi yakona manje.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu sifile sive sithi
Welcome back. You're still watching Netbank Business Watch. Thank you for staying with us. We now want to take a look at today's financial markets. We're joined by Head of Treasury from Netbank Eswatini, Bongani. A very good afternoon, Bongani. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, for coming through today. So what's happening in the markets? You know, what effect has Donald Trump being the president-elect of the U.S. has on the markets?
Yeah, good afternoon, Lulu. Good afternoon to your viewers. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Quite a bit has happened in the past week since we last spoke. As you rightfully say, you've had the election of Donald Trump as the 45th president of the U.S., and you've also had last week, Wednesday, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 25 basis points. That was pretty much expected by the market. And you've had a number of other global developments, including the fall of the coalition government in Germany. All of those have had quite a bit of an effect. But I think the big moment has been the election of Donald Trump, and that has had a ripple effect across markets. And I think we can go into it and see what effect that's had across the different asset classes.
Yes, I see today the Lilangen is trading 18 amalangeni against the US dollar, quite high today. What happened there?
Yes, definitely, and I think that's again a byproduct of the election of Mr. Trump last week. So we're actually we see the Langeni at 18.02 today, which is down about 0.58%. Against the euro, the Langeni is at 19.01, which is down about half a percentage point. There again, and the same story is true against the pound, where the Langeni is weaker by about just shy of half a percentage point. And we've seen the Langeni weaken since the election of Mr. Trump. And actually, just to put things into context, we've seen it rebound a bit today. The 18.02 levels can be seen as a bit high, but if you take that into context, you know that, for instance, today we opened at 18.08, which is higher than where we are now. And yesterday we opened at 17.95, but we ended during the day we weakened we saw the Langeni weakened to levels of about 18.18. So it is strengthening a bit and paring back some of those losses. The big story today is really around the U.S. inflation numbers, which are expected this afternoon, and there's also expectations around what the Federal Reserve is going to do now that we have seen the election of Mr. Trump and the effect of his policies on the dollar and on global markets, and a lot of it is around how the nominees into Mr. Trump's government are mostly hardliners from a trade perspective. So that and a lot of the policies are really inflationary. So that is driving the dollar strength, and it is driving the inverse, which is the weakness of the Langeni.
Okay, so just to get into the euros, you know, I think I saw a report yesterday saying that the European Central Bank alerted banks in Europe that there could be U.S. trade wars with the U.S. What's happening there?
Yeah, that's correct. And I think that's, again, an effect of the nominees that Mr. Trump has put forward, or the people who are likely to be part of his government, who are seen as hardliners from a trade perspective. And that could spark the return of trade wars in the form of tariffs being levied across different types of goods and services that are from other parts of the world, being Europe, being China, being Africa, etc. And that, as a result, has seen all other currencies except the dollar weaken against the greenback. So that's the effect of that. Also, what's been affecting the euro, as I mentioned earlier, is the collapse of the coalition government in Germany. We have seen that, and that we have seen the euro sort of react to that. And then the result of that is that there's a bit of disagreement on whether Germany has to suspend what they call the debt brake in Germany, and that's partly what led to the collapse of that government. From a pound perspective, what we saw is that the pound is actually near 3-month lows against the dollars, but the data is showing that there's easing UK inflation, which is affecting the effect of that currency.
Okay, so moving on to commodities, gold today is trading at $2,600 per ounce, and Brent crude oil stands at 73.63 per barrel dollars. What's happening today? Looks quite good.
Yeah, that's correct, Lulu. You're seeing a slight rebound in the gold price, but to put things into perspective, the gold price is near 7-week lows after the Trump win. This is because after the win of Mr. Trump, you saw the dollar rally and people move away from gold as a safe haven asset. From a Brent crude perspective, crude is also near the lowest levels this month. The big focus now is on demand outlook for oil. And this is on the back of news that OPEC has cut its projections for output based on a slowdown in the Chinese economy.
Okay. So just lastly, quickly going through the equities, S&P 500 trading at $5,900 today. What's happening there?
Yeah, thanks. So the S&P 500 closed the trading day yesterday about 0.3% lower, and we saw that there was a bit of a paring back of the rally that the S&P 500 has been on since the election outcome last week. But there's interesting data that's come out, which is that investors in the US have highest exposure to US stocks since 2013. So that's very, very interesting. Across other equities markets, the FTSE is down about 0.5 percentage point, and the JSE All Share Index is down about 1/3%. Okay. The big news that's going to move markets today is the outcome of the CPI, or the US inflation numbers, which is expected this afternoon.
Okay. All right. Any more additional data we can expect this afternoon or the rest of the week?
I think the big news is really around the US inflation numbers, which are coming out. And those are going to be important, especially as we look into the rest of the year and look into guidance on monetary policy, especially from a US Federal Reserve perspective. The previous expectation was that we are in a declining interest rate environment, but the election of Mr. Trump and his potentially inflationary policies, it might change the trajectory of interest rates, and we might see less interest rate cuts than we were previously expecting, and that's going to be interesting to watch.
All right, very interesting. Thank you for coming through, Bongani. That was Head of Treasury at Nedbank Eswatini. Bongani taking us through the financial markets this afternoon. Let's go for an ad break. Stop by Hlelo.
Digital helps you make cross-border payments. Human gives you global specialists. Digital allows you to apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Human connects you to credit experts. Digital puts you in control of your money, while Human connects you to wealth advisors. Digital allows you to freeze, unfreeze, cancel, and reorder your card. Human gives you that personal touch. Digital when you want it. Human when you need it. Get the complete private banking experience with Nedbank Private Clients.
sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu sifile sive sitikhulume.
Right, it's 2 minutes before 3 o'clock. Thank you for watching Nedbank Business Watch. If you do want to get yourself that portable gadget, Nedbank Pocket Post, do visit any branch of Nedbank countrywide. It's only 499 Emalanga, and it's not a rental. You can purchase it cash at any Nedbank branch. To contact them and also to interact with them on their social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you next week, Wednesday at exactly 2 p.m. Thank you for watching.
Make better money choices. Choose a bank that takes your money seriously. Business Watch was brought to you by Nedbank.